future doctors, welcome to the channel BioPulse. This is Chandrika. Today's day 9 of respiration in plants, one of the most important chapter of the list and very confusing chapter also. Usually students will get confused in many of the concepts. Today we will track those all concepts with very useful tricks and then shortcuts. Okay. Now, did you know plants are not just oxygen producer? They are also constantly breathing just like us. Yes, in this chapter, we will cover how actually plants break down glucose, how ATP is generated, and why this procedure is crucial for the survival not just for the plants but for also all the living organisms. So, from glycolysis to Krebs cycle, I will teach you easy tricks and then shortcuts that will be helpful for your NEET concepts or else for your NEET examination to remember very easily everything quickly and then accurately. So, get ready to dive in my world of the bio to learn about the respiration in plants, one of the most important chapter for the NEET bio. So let's get started. For today, this is the first question. Respiration is defined as formation of CC bonds of complex compound. B. Breaking of CC bonds of complex compound. C. Breaking of CN bonds of complex compound. And then D. All of the above. Here respiration is defined as what? Breaking of the CC carbon-carbon bonds of the complex compound. So option B is right. Question number 2. Respiration results finally to a formation and release of which among the following? Option A, NADPH, option B, glucose, option C, ATP, and then D, both A and C. Answer is already revealed, that is answer C, that is ATP. Final formation and then release is in which among the following is in the form of ATP. Whatever the molecule we eat, whatever the food we eat, no, that will be converted in the form of glucose. Not only we, that means not only higher animals, even the plant also. That glucose finally it is going to be converted in the form of what? The energy currency, that is ATP. Glucose with respect to or else in presence of oxygen, it will be giving you CO2, that is the release of the CO2, and then water molecule, and then lastly finally ATP. Okay, plant also breathe. This is the one of the best process that can prove that plants also respire like us without having lung, isn't it? We have lungs, we can breathe very easily, but plant won't. Even though plant lack the lungs, they breathe, they respire by specialized structures are there, which we will call them as a lenticels, and then stomata also helpful for them for the exchange of the gases. So here the third question, the carbon-carbon bond of the complex compound is broken by which process in respiration? In respiration, which process is there where the carbon-carbon bond is broken? That is the option A, oxidation. The correct option is also the oxidation. Question number 4. Assertion and reason. ATP act as energy currency of cell. Exactly. Energy released through respiration is trapped as biochemical energy in the form of ATP. So here the right option is both assertion and reasons are correct. Question number 5. Which among the following is wrong? Only carbohydrates are oxidized to release energy in the process of respiration. Second one, energy produced in respiration is not released in a single step. And then 3, ATP can be broken down as and when energy needs to be utilized. So here wrong one is only one. Not only carbohydrates are oxidized. Sixth one, ATP stands for A. Adenosine 3 triphosphate, B. adenosine 3 triophosphate, C. adenosine 5 triophosphate, and then D. adenosine 5 triophosphate. Here the right option is adenosine 5 triphosphate. Seventh one, compounds that are oxidized during the process of respiration is called compounds that are oxidized. They are called what? Respiratory substrate. This is two basic question. Eighth one, statement 1, only green plants and cyanobacteria can prepare their own food by photosynthesis. Statement 2, only green plants and cyanobacteria can prepare their own food by converting chemical energy to light energy. Which of the statement is true? Among them, the only one first statement is right. Ninth one, ultimately all the food that is respired for life processes comes from photosynthesis. The above statement is correct, incorrect, partially correct, can't be said as it is incomplete. So here the right option is correct. Ultimately all the food that is respired for life process comes from what? Photosynthesis, obviously. 10th one, which of the following cannot be used as respiratory substance in plants under any condition? Under any condition. Option A, fat. Option B, protein. Option C, carbohydrates. Option D, none of this. So here option D, none of this is correct. Do plants breathe? 11th question. From this portion, do plants breathe? There is a portion in NCERT. 11th one, what are the byproducts of respiration process? Here respiration process byproducts already given, isn't it? A, oxygen, B, water, C, carbon dioxide, and then D, both B and C. Here the right option is D, both B and C, because when glucose molecule is going to break down, the byproduct will be CO2 and then water and then energy currency. 12th one, respiration is a dash process. A, anabolic, B, catabolic, C, both anabolic as well as catabolic, D, none of the above. So here the right option is B, it's a catabolic process. Breaking down process is said to be catabolic, making down is said to be what? Anabolic. 13th one, choose the correct equation. A, C6H12O6, that is glucose, plus 12O2 gives rise to 6H2O plus 6H2O plus energy. No, this is wrong. B, glucose plus 3 molecules of oxygen gives rise to 2 molecules of CO2 and 3 molecules of H2O and energy. No, this one is also wrong. Third one, C, C6H12O6, 6CO2, up to this is correct. 6H2O plus energy, but no CO2 is present here. So D, C6H12O6 plus 6O2 gives rise to 6CO2 plus 6H2O and energy. That is correct. Next, 14th one, respiration organs for plants are respiratory organs. As we respire by our lungs, no, means our nose and then lungs, same like that. There will be respiratory organs for plants also. They are lenticels, B, stomata, C, woody bark, and then D, both of the above A and B. So here the right option is D. 15th one, which among the following is wrong? A, roots, leaf and stem respire for low than animal do. B, for plants to respire, availability of O2 is problem, as O2 is not released within the cell during the photosynthesis. C, there is very little transport of gases from one plant part to another. So which one is wrong means the B one is wrong. Now from the glycolysis. Glycolysis means the breaking down of the glucose. 16th one, glycolysis is originated from Latin word, French, Italian and Greek word, and it was originated from the Greek word. Next question, 17th one. Meaning of glycolysis is A. Splitting of water. No. Splitting of sugar. Splitting of fat. Splitting of protein. So here the right option is splitting of sugar. 18th one. Glycolysis is also known as dash pathway. ETS, EMP, ENP, ELP. It is also known as EMP. Why? Because three main scientists which are introduced the process of glycolysis, their name's first alphabet is EMP. I will tell you who those are next question. Okay, so option B is right. Here comes the question. 19th one. The scheme of glycolysis was given by A. Gustav Emden, B. Otto Meyerhoff, C. J. Parnas, and then D. all of the above. So here the right option is D. all of the above. From Emden E is taken, from Meyerhoff M is taken, from Parnas P is taken. EMP pathway, which is also called for glycolysis, another name for glycolysis. 20th one. Glycolysis occurs in which among the following? A. Aerobic organism, B. Anaerobic organism, C. Eukaryotes, D. all of the above. So glycolysis occurs in all of the above. It takes place in every organism, glycolysis process. 21. Sucrose is converted into dash and dash using the enzyme dash. Sucrose is converted into glucose and glucose. No, first one is wrong. So here the option D is already given. Sucrose is converted to glucose and then fructose with the help of enzyme invertase. 22. What is the isomerized produce of glucose 6-phosphate in steps of glycolysis? So here option A, fructose 1,6-bisphosphate, B, fructose 6-phosphate, C, fructose 1,3,6 triphosphate, D, fructose 3-phosphate. So here the right option is option B. 23 question. Glycolysis how many steps of process? It's a 10 steps of process. Glycolysis is a 10-step process. 24th. End product of glycolysis is A. Pyruvate, B. Phenol, C. Prussic acid, D. Phosphoenol pyruvate. And then here the right option is option A, pyruvate. 25. ATP is utilized in which steps of glycolysis? 1. Conversion of BPGA to PGA. 2. Conversion of glucose into glucose 6-phosphate. 3. Conversion of fructose 6-phosphate to fructose 1,6-bisphosphate. And then 4th, conversion of PEP to pyruvate. So here the right option is option C, both 2 and 3. In 2 and 3 what happens? There is a utilization of ATP. Next, 26. 1 molecule of glucose is converted into how many molecules of pyruvic acid? 1 molecule of glucose will give you how many pyruvic acid? It will give you 2 pyruvic acids. So a glucose will undergo for the next cycle, that is Krebs cycle. After the Krebs cycle there will be formation, there will be a cycle, that is ETS. 1 molecule of glucose will give you 2 pyruvic acids, means there will be 2 Krebs cycles. Okay. 27. When PGAL is converted into BPGA in process of respiration, there is formation of A. 1 molecule of ATP, B. 1 molecule of H2O, C. 1 molecule of NADH plus H plus, and then D. 1 molecule of ADP. So here the right option is 1 molecule of NADH plus H plus. 28. PGAL get dash and get converted to BPGA. A. It is reduced, B. hydrolyzed, C. oxidized, and then D. all of this. PGAL get oxidized and then get converted to BPGA. 29th question. Conversion of 2-phosphoglycerides to phosphoenol pyruvate leads a formation of A. ATP, B. NADH2, C. H2O, D. ADP. So here the right option is option A. 30th one. If glucose is labeled with, what molecule will become radioactive as glycolysis and TCA cycle are completed? So please make a correction here. If glucose is labeled with 14C, okay, na isotope it's a radioisotope, what molecule will become radioactive as glycolysis and TCA cycle are completed? First option water, second one NADH, third option ATP, and then fourth one is CO2. Among these all, C is nowhere. So if carbon is isolabeled or radioisotope, then it is comes out in the form of C only, that is carbon dioxide. Option 4 is right. 31. What does PGAL stands for? A. 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde, 5-phosphoglyceraldehyde, 3-phosphoglyceric acid, 5-phosphoglyceric acid. Here the right option is option A. 32. What is the full form of PEP? A. pyroenol pyruvate, B. pyruvic pyruvate, C. phosphoenol pyruvate. None of the above. Here the right option is option C. 33. Pyruvic acid is composed of how many carbon atom? 2, 3, 4, 5. Right option is 4. That is option C. 34. Which among the following step in glycolysis yields energy? Option 1. Conversion of BPGA to PGA. 2. Conversion of fructose 6-phosphate to fructose 1,6-bisphosphate. 3. Conversion of PEP to pyruvic acid. And then fourth, conversion of glucose 6-phosphate to fructose 6-phosphate. Here the right option is both 1 and 3. This one and this one, they yield energy. 35. In glycolysis, fructose 1,6-bisphosphate gets split into which of the following? Option A, PGAL and BPGA. Option B, glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate and 3-phosphoglyceric acid. Option C, glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate and dihydroxyacetone phosphate. Option D, none of the above. So here the right option is option C. 36. What is the net gain of ATP from one molecule of glucose in one complete glycolysis? Please note down the net gains of ATP and then NADPH in glycolysis, Krebs and then ETA separately. In the last slide I will provide those all things. Don't get confused here, just keep a clear mind about that, because based on the net gain ATP only many times the question is arised in the NEET examination. So be clear about that. Okay, what is the net gain of ATP from one molecule of glucose in one complete glycolysis? Means the answer is 2, because of course it is getting 4, but it is 2 ATP is utilizing itself. First investment phase will be there, the next gain phase will be there. That's what net gain is 2. gluco, which means what? Ground. Where glucose is glycolysis takes place in cytoplasm, like that you can remember. Okay, steps shortcut about the glycolysis. First will be investment phase, then next will be splitting, then next earning. What is investing here? ATP is going to be invested. Then next, what is going to be earned? ATP is going to be earned. In investment phase uses what? ATP. Splitting, what happens? 6 carbon molecule is going to be split into two 3 carbon compounds, and in earning phase ATP and then NADPH is going to be earned. So net gain trick, 4 ATP are made but 2 are used because it is invested, so profit is how much? 2 ATP after the completion of glycolysis. 37. How many ATP are utilized in complete process of glycolysis of one glucose molecule? How many ATP are utilized? 2 molecule of ATP, just now I said. 38th one. How many molecules of NADH are produced in one complete process of glycolysis of one glucose molecule? Here the right option is 4. NADH are produced in one complete process, that is number of NADH are 4. 39. How many molecules of ATP are directly produced in one complete glycolysis of one glucose molecule? That is option B, 2. 41. Which among the following are correct about the glycolysis? First one, it is only process that occurs in anaerobes for oxidation of glucose. 2. Glucose undergoes complete oxidation to form pyruvic acid. 3. At the end, there is a net gain of 4 ATP and 2 NADH. So here the right option is only first one is correct, remaining 2 are wrong. Just now we said no 4 NADH, here he given only 2, so this one is wrong. 40th question, answer is C. 41. For further complete oxidation of glucose, pyruvic acid enters to which among the following? After the glycolysis, pyruvic acid will enter to A. ETS, B. Krebs cycle, C. EMP pathway, and then D. None of the above. I said during the first slides only, I said first it will takes place glycolysis, the next oxidative phosphorylation, next which is a link reaction we can say, that is not considered also. Some will consider, some will not consider. First glycolysis, the next Krebs cycle, the next ETS. Glycolysis in cytoplasm, Krebs cycle in matrix of mitochondria, and then ETS in inner mitochondrial membrane. Got it? So here the right option, after the glycolysis there will comes the Krebs cycle. Next questions from fermentation. 42. Fermentation occurs when there is a complete supply of oxygen, B. no supply of oxygen, C. complete supply of water, D. no supply of water. So here the right option is option B, no supply of oxygen. If air is there, means there will be more ATP. If there is no air, there will be less ATP. Here air is considered as O2. Okay, if O2 is present, more ATP will produce. If there is no O2, less ATP is going to produce. 43. In alcoholic fermentation, pyruvate is converted to which among the following? A. Ethanol, CO2, NADH, B. CO2 and methanol, C. CO2 and ethanol only, D. CO2 and carboxylic acid. Here the right option is C. CO2 and ethanol only. Okay, after the completion of alcoholic fermentation, it is going to be converted. Pyruvate is going to convert into CO2 and ethanol. Here is the trick to remember. In plants and then yeast, what happens? Alcohol fermentation, it takes place. In muscles cells, there is a lactic acid fermentation. Alcohol fermentation gives rise to ethanol plus CO2. Lactic acid won't give what? CO2. Yes. 44. Which enzyme is responsible for alcoholic fermentation? Alcoholic fermentation. A. Pyruvic acid decarboxylase. B. Lactate decarboxylase. C. Alcohol dehydrogenase. D. More than one option is correct. Here more than one option is correct because which enzyme is responsible for alcoholic fermentation? For the alcoholic fermentation, next for the lactic acid fermentation, again the right option is D itself. More than one option is correct. Pyruvic acid decarboxylase and lactic dehydrogenase for lactic acid. For alcoholic, pyruvic acid decarboxylation and alcohol dehydrogenase. 46. Choose the correct option in the formation process. First one, oxidation of ADP to ATP takes place. 2. Reduction of ATP to ADP takes place. 3. Reduction agent NADH plus H plus is reoxidized to NAD plus. 4. Formation of NADH plus H plus takes place by oxidation. So here the right option is option D. Only third one is right. 47. How many statements are correct about fermentation? First one, very low amount of energy is released, that is less than 70% of energy in glucose is released during the fermentation process. Second one, in animal cell, this is correct, when oxygen is inadequate, acetic acid is formed during respiration. This is wrong. In animal cell, lactic acid is formed, not the acetic acid. So second one is wrong. Third one, it is dangerous process as it leads to acid and alcohol formation. Right. So how many statements are correct about this? 1 and then 2. Right option is C. 48. The range beyond which yeast poisons themselves to death in alcohol fermentation when the concentration of alcohol reaches to. Alcohol fermentation, when it takes place in the yeast, what happens? If it is rising the range, minimal range, if it is crossing the minimal range, then its tolerance capacity will be degraded and then it will leads to death of that yeast. What is that one? That percentage is alcohol percentage is 13%. Question number 49. Which among the following is the process steps in complete cellular respiration which do not need oxygen molecule? A. Glycolysis. B. Tricarboxylic acid cycle. C. ETC. And then D. Both A and B. So here the right option is A. Glycolysis. Glycolysis won't need oxygen for its process. Aerobic respiration. 50th question. Complete the following reaction. Pyruvic acid 1, NAD plus 2, enzyme acetyl-CoA plus 3 plus NAD plus H plus. Here the right option is first one, pyruvic acid and then oxygen, no. NAD plus 2, no. Enzyme acetyl-CoA and then 3 is CO2. So here the right option is option D. Next, 51. Pyruvate enters to the mitochondrial matrix and undergoes then undergoes reductive decarboxylation, oxidative carboxylation, reductive carboxylation, oxidative decarboxylation. Here the right option is option D, oxidative decarboxylation. 52. Which enzyme catalyzes the reaction going on in mitochondrial matrix in respiration? Option A. Option D is right. Already the answer is revealed. 53. Who elucidated tricarboxylic acid cycle? A. Johns Allen. B. Hans Krebs. C. Meyerhoff. And then D. Elena Parker. So here the right option is Hans Krebs. That's what TCA cycle is also called as Krebs cycle. Krebs cycle, where it is going to take place, kitchen house of the cell. Who is said to be a kitchen house of the cell? That is mitochondria. So in the mitochondrial matrix, Krebs cycle takes place. Order, how you will remember: citrate is Krebs cycle's starting substrate, and then oxaloacetic acid OAA is makes last, like this: citrate, isocitrate, alpha Kg, succinyl CoA, succinate, fumarate, malate, and then oxaloacetic acid. Here how many ATP are going to form? 2 ATP and then 6 NADH and 2 FADH2. 54. Formation of acetyl coenzyme A from pyruvate in mitochondrial matrix yields which among the following? Option A, CO2, B, H2O, C, NADPH plus H plus, and then D, both A and C. Here the right option is option A. 55. How many molecules of NADH plus H plus are produced when pyruvate converts to acetyl CoA to TCA cycle? Here the right option is option B, 1. TCA cycle, that is tricarboxylic acid cycle. 56. Where does TCA cycle occurs? In cytoplasm, in mitochondrial cell wall, in mitochondrial matrix, in chloroplast. Here the right option is option C, mitochondrial matrix. TCA cycle, or else it is also called as Krebs cycle, which takes place in mitochondrial matrix. 57. What is the first product of TCA cycle? A, acetyl CoA, B, citric acid, C, isocitric acid, D, OAA, oxaloacetic acid. Here the right option is B, citric acid. 58. What is the first step of TCA cycle? What is the first step of TCA cycle? A, formation of citrate from isocitrate. B, formation of citrate from acetyl coenzyme A. Formation of citrate from decarboxylation of succinic acid, and then D, none of the above. So here option B is correct. 59. Which enzyme catalyzes the first step of TCA cycle? Option A, citrate synthase, B, citrate reductase, C, citrate oxidase, D, none of the above. Here the right option is option A, citrate synthase. 60. What is the first member of TCA cycle that accepts acetyl CoA? Option A, citrate, B, CoA, C, oxaloacetic acid, and then D, both A and C. So here the right option is C, oxaloacetic acid. 61. Which among the following is synthesized during the conversion of succinyl CoA to succinic acid in TCA cycle? FADH2, GTA, NADH2, and ATP. Here the right option is B, GTP. 62. How many total CO2 molecules are released from pyruvate to completion of TCA cycle? How many CO2 is released? Here the right option is 3. Option D is correct. 63. How many total NADH2 are produced from pyruvate to completion of TCA cycle? Here the right option is option C, 4. How many FADH2 are produced in TCA cycle? Option A, 1. Only 1 FADH2. 65. One molecule of glucose synthesizes how many molecules of NADH plus H plus at the end of TCA cycle? Here the right option is 8. that is option C. 66. How many molecules of FADH2 are involved from the one glucose molecule at the end of TCA cycle? Means it is the formation of two molecules of FADH2. 67. How many net ATP molecules are directly yielded from complete oxidation of one glucose, including ATP and TCA? Including ATP and TCA means there will be net gain of 4 ATPs. 68. Which among the following is wrong? 1. Glycolysis occurs in all living organisms. 2. TCA cycle and ETS only occurs in aerobes. Complete oxidation of pyruvic acids or else pyruvate occurs by removal of all hydrogen atom in TCA. So here the right option is option D, none of the above. Electron transport system, that is ETS, and oxidative phosphorylation topics questions. 69. ETS occurs in which place? A. Outer membrane of mitochondria. B. Cytoplasm. C. Inner membrane of mitochondria. D. Matrix of mitochondria. You must answer for this question. I am giving you the diagram. See here, this is the outer mitochondrial membrane which is continuous, and then this one is the inner one which will be in the form of crystals. Okay, so inside the inner membrane the inner mitochondrial membrane has the site of what? ETS or ETC. So your right option will be C. 70th one. Energy stored in NADH plus H plus and FADH2 are released in ETS through reduction of these molecules, oxidation of these molecules, hydrolysis of these molecules, both A and B. Here the right option is option B, oxidation of these molecules. 71. ETS stands for Electron Transport System, correct. Electron Transmission System, Electron Transport System, none of the above. So here, sorry, this is electrical transport system. I thought electron. So see, I also made a mistake just because of a small negligence. This is not electrical. Electrical, actually E stands for electron, not electrical. So here the right option is C. If you made such mistakes, Govinda, Govinda, marks will go. Don't do, okay. 72. Be alert when you choose options. When the electrons are passed on to O2 in ETS, it leads to formation of what? CO2, ATP, H2O, NAD plus H plus. Here the right option is option C, that is H2O. 73. Ubiquinone is located at A. Inner membrane of mitochondria, B. Outer membrane of mitochondria, C. Inner membrane of nucleus, D. Outer membrane of nucleus. Nucleus is not at all related with this. Here the right option is option A, inner membrane of mitochondria. Ubiquinone is helpful for the ETS cycle. It is a mobile electron carrier. 74. Ubiquinone receives electron from which of the following? Option here 1. First statement, from NADH produced in mitochondria matrix during TCA, from FADH2 producing during oxidation of succinate in TCA. So here the right option, both are correct. So C, both I and 2. 75. Electrons from NADH produced during TCA are oxidized by which enzyme? NAD plus hydrogenase, NADH dehydrogenase, NAD plus hydroxylase, and then NADH dehydroxylase. So here the right option is option B. 76th question. The reduced ubiquinone are also known as what? Ubiquinate? No. Ubiquinase, no. Ubiquinals, no. Ubiquinol. 77. Cytochrome C is a lipid, carbohydrate, protein and fat. It's a protein. Next question is 78. What is the function of cytochrome C? A. Act as donor of electron. B. Passages for movement of electron. C. Act as receptor of electron between complexes 1 and then 3. D. Act as a molecule carrier for electron transfer. So here between complex 3 and then 4. So here the right option is option D. This is what actually overall structure I wanted to show you. When a cell or else any of the organism is getting enough food and then oxygen in the cytoplasm and then in mitochondria, they will be responsible for the process of respiration. First it will take place glucose will undergo glycolysis process, first process which is taking place in cytoplasm, and then next it forms pyruvate will undergo Krebs cycle. Then next the products of the glycolysis and then Krebs cycles product, that is NADH and then ATP, will undergo electron transport system which is in inner mitochondrial membrane. After that what happens, carbon dioxide and then water and then ATP are released. Because of this only mitochondria is called as what? Powerhouse of the cell. 79. What does cytochrome C oxidase complex contain? A. Cytochrome A. B. Cytochrome A3. C. 2 copper centers, and then D. All of the above. So here the right option is D. All of the above. Cytochrome C complex or else oxidase complex contains cytochrome C also, cytochrome A, cytochrome A3 and then 2 copper centers. 80th question. When electron passes from complex 1 to 4 in ETS, they are coupled to dash for ATP production from ADP. Option A cytochrome C, option B cytochrome BC1, ATP synthetase, and then both A and B. Here the right option is option C. 81. Oxidation of one molecule of NADH2 produce how many molecules of ATP? Oxidation of one molecule of NADH2 will produce the 3 molecules of ATP. Means 1 molecule of NADH2 is equals to 3 ATPs. Okay, 1 molecule of NADH2 is equals to what? 3 ATPs. And then 1 molecule of FADH2 is equals to 2 molecules of ATP. That is, oxidation of 2 molecules of FADH2 produce how many molecules of ATP? 1, 2, 3, 4. Here the right option is option D. 1 molecule of FADH2 will give you 2 ATPs. So if 2 molecules of FAD, then obviously 2 into 2 it will be 4. Which among the following is the role of oxygen in whole respiration process? First one, act as hydrogen removal from the system. 2. Act as final hydrogen acceptor. 3. It bond with the carbon atom and released CO2, one of the byproduct of the respiration. So here the right option is option C only. 1 and then 2 are right. Role of the oxygen. 84. ETS of respiration process is called reductive phosphorylation, oxidative phosphorylation, oxidative photophosphorylation. D. Both B and C. Here the right option is B. 85. Which among the following is wrong about ATP synthesis? 1. It is also called as complex 5. 2. This is used to synthesis ATP by utilizing the energy released during the ETS. 3. It works on a basis of proton gradient. Fourth one, it consists of two major components F1 and F0. So here the right option is option D, none of the above. All are correct only. 86. What is the F1 in ATP synthetase? A. It contains a site for protein synthesis. B. It contains a site for ADP synthesis from ATP. It contains a site for ATP production from ADP. It acts as a channel through which protons crosses the inner membrane. So here the right option is option C. 87. What is the role of F0 in ATP synthesis? It acts as a channel through which electron crosses the inner membrane. It acts as a channel through which protons crosses the inner membrane. It acts as a mobile protein carrier of the electron across the inner membrane. Acts as a site for the ATP synthesis. So here the right option is option B. Next question, question number 88. For each ATP produced, dash passes through F0 from intermembrane space to the matrix down the electrochemical proton gradient. Means what? This is what actually ATP synthetase structure. This is F1, this is F0. F0 is embedded and then F1 is free. From the matrix, the protons will come out to maintain the gradient, isn't it? How many protons are required to form a one ATP, he is asking. Okay, so the right option is 4 protons. So here the right option is option D. The respiratory balance sheet. 89. What is the net gain of ATP molecule during aerobic respiration of one glucose molecule? Here the net gain is 38 ATPs. Overall, after total the one aerobic respiration, when one molecule of glucose is totally oxidized, then we will get 36 to 38. If 38 is there in the option, you must go with that. 91. Glycolysis, match the following question. Glycolysis, TCA and ETC. Glycolysis takes place in cytoplasm. TCA cycle, that is takes place in mitochondrial matrix, and then ETS or ETC takes place in inner membrane of mitochondria. So right option is glycolysis 1 is 2 means A and C are wrong, B or D, and 2 is 1. So right option is B. 91. Respiratory balance sheet is calculated on some assumptions. Which of the following assumption is correct? The pathway is sequential with series of glycolysis, ETS and TCA cycle in the same order for a given molecule. B. NADH is transferred to chloroplast where oxidative phosphorylation occurs, leading to formation of 3 ATP. Option C. Only glucose is the substrate and none other substrate or intermediate enters or leave the pathway, and then D. None of this. So here the right option is option C. 92. In the balance sheet of fermentation, net gain is A. 12 ATP molecule, B. 38 ATP molecules, C. 2 ATP molecules, and then D. 8 ATP molecules. Here the right option is 2 ATP molecules. Fermentation process is a process where in the absence of oxygen takes place. If oxygen is very less, the ATP energy production is also less. 93. Oxidation of NADH to NAD plus is slower in fermentation than aerobic respiration, faster in fermentation than aerobic respiration, equal in fermentation and aerobic respiration cannot be compared. So here the right option is A, slower in fermentation than the aerobic. That is question number 94. Which among the following is wrong? Other than glucose, no other substrates can be used in respiratory process. 2. Respiratory pathway is an amphibolic pathway. 3. Different substrate enters at a different stage in respiratory pathway. So here only first one is wrong. 95. Which among the following is wrong? Other than glucose, no other substrate can be used. This question is same. Oh, sorry for that. This question is repeated. 96. Fats are respiratory substrate converts to which compound first? Option A, dehydroxyacetone phosphate. B, glycerol. C, fatty acid. B, both B and C. So here the right option is both B and C. Next question 97. Match the following. Amino acids, pyruvic acid, fatty acids, dehydroxyacetone phosphate, glycerol, acetyl CoA. Here the amino acids facet. Amino acid is a pyruvic acid, whereas fatty acid is a acetyl CoA. Glycerol is dehydroxyacetone. So the right option is option A. 98. Choose the correct according to the correct sequence from the substrate to the end product. Glucose 6 phosphate, pyruvic acid, carbohydrate, fructose 1,6 bisphosphate, glucose, dehydroxyacetone phosphate interconvertible to the glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate. Here the right option is option D. First comes the 3, next 5, like that. Okay, 3, 5, 1, 4, 6 and then 2. Respiratory quotient 99. Which statement is true about RQ, respiratory quotient? Number 1, it is also called as respiratory ratio. 2, it is the volume of the volume of O2 released over the volume of CO2 evolved during the respiration. 3, RQ of different substrate is different. Option here only 1, only 3, only both 1 and 3, all of the above. So here the right option is option C. 1 and 3 are true. Centuryth question 100. Choose the correct one. A, RQ equals to volume of CO2 evolved divided by volume of O2 consumed. B, RQ equals to volume of O2 consumed divided by volume of CO2 evolved. C, RQ equals to volume of O2 evolved by CO2 consumed. None of the above. Here the right option is option A itself. 101. What will be the RQ for the following equation? What will be the RQ for the following equation? This is the equation, and then answer after the calculation you will get the answer 0.7. See, use this formula. Volume of CO2 evolved. How much CO2 is evolved divided by O2 consumed. For example, 102 divided by 145. 102 divided by 145, if you do, you will get the option 0.7. 102 question. What is RQ if proteins are used as a respiratory substrate? What is the RQ value for the proteins? Means it is 0.9, less than 1. RQ value for proteins will be less than 1. Then what is the RQ if the carbohydrates are used as a respiratory substrate? Here the right option is option A, that is 1. Next question 104. Match the following type question. NADH plus H plus FADH2 and then GTP. Here NADH plus H plus is equals to what? 3 ATPs, and FADH2 is equals to 2 ATP, and then GTP is equals to 1 ATP. I said about this, isn't it? So right option is C. 105. In ETS, O2 accepts the electrons and get reduced to which of the following? A. Water, B. Carbon dioxide, C. Palmitic acid, and then D. None of the above. So here the answer is A. What is the final end product of TCA cycle? Option A, 3 NADH plus H plus, B 1 ATP, C 1 FADH2, and then D all of the above. Here the option is all of the above. 107. How many ATPs are produced through ETS only from one molecule of 3-phosphoglycerate in aerobic respiration? 12, 14, 16 and 15. Right option is the 14th. So this is the last question of today's session. One more slide is there, which is having some of the tricks and then shortcuts about this chapter. See, the most asked area in the NEET, that is, you may get questions from glycolysis steps and then ATPs, Krebs cycle products, RQ value, aerobic and anaerobic versus anaerobic fermentation area. These are the main areas where you'll expect the questions. You may expect the questions from this area. And then keep in mind, 1 glucose is equals to 36 to 38 ATPs produced. When 1 glucose is broken down, it may give you 36 to 38 approx. How can you keep in memory? From glycolysis we get 2 ATP, from Krebs 2 ATP, again ETS major ATP you will get, that is 32 to 34. So plant breathes slowly but continuously. No special organs are there for the plants. That's what they exchange via stomata or lenticels. More oxygen used, RQ value will be less than 1. If no oxygen is used, all RQ becomes very high. Oxygen is not there means RQ value will be very high. Keep in mind. Carbs equals to 1. Carbohydrates RQ value will be 1. Fats RQ value will be less than 1. Proteins will be approximately 0.8. Okay, and then anaerobic will be more than 1. Carbs equals to 1, fats less than 1, anaerobics more than 1, and then protein is 0.8. So this is the last slide for today's session. Thank you for today's class. I will come back with the next class with a very great chapter again, that is the plant growth and then development chapter. Today will be the end of the day 9. Bye bye.